Is there anything else about maybe the future of Nouns Coffee that you want to share or just bigger goals?
Yeah, I think if you look at the original proposal, in there we actually have phase two and phase three that will be eventually we'll propose them. I think what we're waiting for is we're waiting for this moment where we feel like Nouns Coffee has proven itself in a way that makes it viable and sustainable, like I said, without being around crypto. And that means funding at least one or two people to be able to work based on the sales of coffee. And so once we've hit that, we'll move into these phase two and phase three approaches, which the dream state is that Nouns Coffee just funds them itself. But obviously, if we feel like we need a little bit of support from the DAO, we would put up proposals for these as well. But right now in phase one, what we're doing is we're doing this thing called white labeling, where we find partner roasters around the United States and we basically test out roast, test out beans with them and decide, okay, cool, let's do this roast this month. And then we send them our packaging and they fulfill the coffee for us. And then we have a kind of drop shipping partner that will then ship it out to everyone else. So that's how we do it now. That's phase one for this whole bean coffee. Phase two is being able to bring the roasting in house, because when you do that, and you have the right partner that's able to roast for you, like you have so much more control over the quality of the roast. You have more flexibility. You can do more roasts. You literally can change your roast daily if you really wanted to. And so that's going to be phase two, where hopefully we can bring the logistics of roasting and shipping out the coffee fully in-house. Like I said, we'll take a while to prove this out enough to know that we can sustain having, whether it's a couple part-time people or a couple full-time people on staff, to be able to manage the roasting and logistics. So that would be phase two. And then the dream state, this end goal, phase three, final form of Nouns Coffee, is obviously to have a coffee shop of our own. I just always dream of you're walking around New York City, whether it's Midtown or Soho or wherever it is. Let's say you're in Soho and you're walking down these cobblestone streets and you look over and all you see is this bright, illuminating red sign to the right. And you're like, oh, that red is familiar. You look over and it's a pair of noggles. And under it says Nouns Coffee. And it's a cafe that you walk into. And it's just like the most well-designed, well-branded, so nouns, especially around Nouns Coffee. Sometimes I just dream of that. I'm just like, how cool would this be to turn this into something that is literally big enough to be on the streets of New York? And so that's the end goal. It will most likely take a while to get there. Like I said, we don't want to be a brand that is just like, here Nouns, fund us, fund us, fund us. We want to be self-sustaining and show that like you can have this initial stepping stool from Nouns, but that projects should always drive their goal to be, we can fund ourselves after we get this initial hit of funding from proposals. So we'll see how long that takes, but hopefully someday we can all meet up at Nouns Coffee, whether it's New York City, Portland, wherever it is. I just think that's the dream for sure.